G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and let's get right into it. My husband is cheating on me with my high school bully. I just can't believe that he could fool me. His affair started 6 months ago. I could trace it 6 months back anyway. It could have been longer. There were no signs, no indications, no change of behavior, no change in the bedroom. I just found out by accident 3 weeks ago when his phone was on the nightstand. My husband was sleeping with my high school bully. I grew up in a small town, and this woman bullied me severely in middle and high school. After graduation, I did everything to find a job in a bigger city and moved, leaving all the hurtful memories behind. I worked hard for a year, found an apartment, bought a car, and later started college. That's where I met my husband. We got married 2 years ago. I'm 8 weeks pregnant. He doesn't know yet, and I will tell him eventually, don't worry. When I was in college, my bully reached out to me after we bumped into each other in a party. She was new in town and was glad that she saw a familiar face. She never acknowledged what she did, and I never confronted her. I didn't want to open old wounds. However, I wasn't going to befriend her, so I just rebuffed any attempt of reconnecting. She still moved in the same crowd as my husband and me. I never told my husband anything about her or our past. I wasn't even sure he knew her by name. 3 weeks ago, when my husband was in the shower, he got a notification on Messenger. I thought that it was odd since he's not been active on Facebook or Messenger in ages. We know each other's codes, so I looked and there was her name and pictures telling him she missed his dick. I scrolled a few messages back and there was a full conversation. I felt sick and my eyes went blurry, so I just left the phone back where it was and acted like nothing. Over the next 2 weeks, I looked in his phone whenever I could. I found out that my husband deleted Messenger whenever he didn't use it, except for the time he forgot. I started doing the same. Whenever he's sleeping, playing games, or out for a run, I took his phone and installed Messenger. I could trace back their relationship 6 months. They've been sleeping together for 4. A lot of graphic description of what they want to do or have done to each other, but also a lot about me, although it was often one-sided. It's always my bully asking questions and trying to get answers about me, and my husband either reluctantly answering or outright telling her not to talk about me. But they've discussed my sex life, and apparently I'm vanilla. To her constant questions about if he preferred me better, he answered that it's different and he doesn't want to compare. Discussions about me often ended in him getting irritated and stopped answering for days. I have never cried my whole life combined compared to these last few weeks. I want to leave my husband, but I don't want to tell him why. I don't want to give him or my bully the satisfaction of knowing that they hurt me. I just want to ask for divorce and just tell him that I wasn't in love with him anymore and that I'm not happy in our marriage. It won't be lying, technically, because he's not the man that I loved, and I'm not happy in our marriage. I haven't told anyone what I've found out, but I've told my mom that I want to leave my husband and stated the reasons above. She went berserk. This is so out of the blue and moronic, and the first question she asked was whether I was cheating on him or not. This was a preview to what probably everyone else will think and say, but honestly, I would rather live with being the perpetrator than the victim this time. I just can't let that bee hurt me again, watch me suffer, and enjoy it. I just can't. I know I'm being irrational right now, but please put yourself in my shoes and tell me what you would do in my stead. And now in the comments, don't keep the secrets of a cheater. You need a support system too. People can't properly support you if they don't know how and what you might need. You are not a victim, you are a survivor. You've already made the hard choice to leave and say that you deserve better. You are not just taking it, you are fighting back, and your strength shows. Don't let these people take the truth too. You don't need to be a martyr for them. Actions have consequences, and they'll get theirs, and you will have a great life for yourself and baby. Also, take the screenshots to a lawyer. You will honestly be better off in the long run when it comes to custody. If you plan to keep the child, he will have rights as a father, and unfortunately, you will not be able to just disappear on this situation. So you're going to keep quiet and open yourself up to bullying by protecting your husband and his mistress's hide. It seems like they're going to win with your plan. Also, do you want your bully to be your kid's stepmom? Because if you do go down this route of letting yourself be painted as the villain, that's a very real possibility. People will back them up, especially if they think you're the one that cheated. Heck, they might even root for those two, as they see your bully as the one that came to your husband in his time of need. Think with your head on this. You aren't that little girl that got bullied and couldn't stand up for herself, so don't act like it now. From one former bullied kid to another, stand up for yourself and control the narrative, and for God's sake, collect evidence. And now on to the update. I shouldn't have deleted my throwaway account before writing an update with what I have decided to do. Thank you all for the support. I have read all of your replies, and I have had them in consideration when making my decision on how to deal with my failed marriage. Here are some points before the update. 1. Many said that I needed a lawyer. I don't know about that. We don't have assets more than a joint account for monthly expenses, and a joint account where both of us can do whatever withdrawals. I have already transferred my contribution to my private account. 2. I'm not trying to protect my husband and his affair partner or their reputation. I just don't want to give them, her, the satisfaction of knowing how much they've hurt me. I have read all of your comments, and the majority thinks that I have the wrong approach. I have decided to follow my gut. 3. About terminating my pregnancy. I'm pro-choice, of course, and I've chosen my baby even before I knew I was pregnant. I can't get rid of it only because I don't want to be with its father anymore. Me and my brothers are children to divorced parents, and we turned out decent enough. About my bully being the stepmom, the chance is slim and not good enough to convince me to get rid of my baby. I already love it more than anything in the world. I have broken the news to my husband that I'm leaving him. I had already talked to my friends about it, and being unhappy in my marriage seemed good enough reason for them to support me. One of them offered me her place until I find my own. I got really emotional and hugged her and cried because that meant that I could leave my husband's apartment now. He was shocked when I told him. I don't think he took me seriously at first, but he asked me if he did something wrong. I told him that I'm simply not happy with him, and I think I'm still too young to waste my life in an unhappy marriage. He said he had noticed me being distant this past month, but never would he have guessed that I was unhappy with him. He begged me to tell him what's wrong because this can't be it. He believed me, however, when my friend came to take me with her. This was Thursday. He has been calling multiple times a day, but I haven't answered. He showed up this morning to my friend's house and begged me to have breakfast with him. I agreed. He looked like he hasn't slept or shaven since I asked for divorce. I told him that I was pregnant and that I'm keeping it, but that he didn't have to be a part of its life if he didn't want to. His phone was on the table and he got a notification from Messenger. So he had forgotten to delete the app before meeting me. When I saw her name, I told him, "Oh, is that her name? You know she used to bully me in school back when we both lived in town." He froze. "Oh, haven't I told you about her?" I told him everything that she did and how it affected me, how she never apologized about anything. He was silent the whole time and just looked at me. I ended with asking him to be careful with her. I don't think she's changed much, to tell you the truth. He grabbed my arm and just watched my face like he wanted to see if I knew something. My plan is to buy a small apartment because that's all I can afford right now. A 1-bedroom is enough until I have my baby, and it's old enough to need its own room. I can upgrade later when I've saved more. I'm not leaving this city. I have spent my best years here and have the greatest memories. I have my friends around me, and hopefully they'll still be supporting me when the divorce is a fact. I have already filed for divorce, but he's probably going to ask for a thinking period. I'm not in a hurry though. Everything will get better. For now, I want to cry, try to get over him, and heal, and be there for my baby. And now in the comments, I'm proud of you, OP. You are super strong. I know you don't think that you need a lawyer, but you could be shooting yourself in the foot. Reputation-wise, I understand you don't care, but you have a baby to think about, and you need to set yourself up with proper alimony, child support, and custody. This woman has been obsessed with you for most of your life. I don't see her going away that easily, especially once she finds out you're pregnant. This, This woman is your abuser and she won't go away on her own. A weak response is only going to encourage her. For the sake of your baby, you need to send a "this stops now" signal. You have handled this with so much dignity in my opinion. Oops, he must have forgot to cover his tracks when he was trying to get you back. The timing with that messenger notification was the perfect opportunity for you to tell him about how awful your bully was and make him sweat about what you really know. And now for the second update. Hi, again, everyone. I have been here some weeks back lamenting the end of marriage. I got so much support, it's crazy, I can't even describe it. I have deleted my account, but I miraculously found it when I googled the topic. Reddit never forgets. I feel so much better now. I have, since the last update, moved from my friend's apartment. I found a 2-bedroom with decent rent. It is perfect for me. The pregnancy is going well. It's a girl. My ex, divorce isn't finalized yet, has asked me to be a part of the pregnancy and be present in the delivery room. I have refused both, of course, because it sounds crazy and very intimate. I promised him updates when something comes up, but as long as she's still in my belly, I don't think he has any right, because he has no right to any part of my body anymore. We are discussing custody and divorce, and I have a great lawyer that my mother is paying for. I haven't discussed his infidelity with him, or any reasons for divorcing him, even if he has tried so hard to talk and discuss the matter. All he gets from me is that my decision is final and that I'm not in love with him anymore. I have told my mother and my closest friends about what really happened. They were relieved that I wasn't just going mad, and probably that's why my mother is helping me with the legal fees. Well, what about my high school bully then? My ex ended his relationship with her after I filed for divorce. Probably after my talk to him when I told him who she was and what she's done to me, because about a month ago she texted me that she needed to tell me something. She has been sleeping with my husband, and she was sorry about it. I feel like I need to tell you this. I answered her that he wasn't my husband anymore since I'm divorcing him, so that it's fine, she could have him. She replied that no, I think our affair started before you two broke up. I'm sorry. I answered her that it didn't matter when it started since we're divorcing, but that I was curious to why she would admit doing something this pathetic now. She didn't answer. My ex never talked to me about that. I have no idea if he knows that she has contacted me. Sometimes it feels like he knows that I know. The way he looks at me like he's about to cry. I hope he's remorseful. But I don't know. I have been good at avoiding him until my girl is born, and I need to learn to co-parent with him. It feels good sometimes that he's not doing all that well. He seems genuinely sad, and again, I hope it's remorse. It feels safer to think that my baby's father has conscience. It makes it easier trusting her living with him when she eventually is ready for shared custody. I have started seeing a guy. It's very early to say, but he's been very affectionate and understanding of my situation, and the fact that I want to take this very slowly. Let's hope my high school bully doesn't find him, although this time I will be more open and tell my future partner about what happened. And now in the comments, I'm so happy that things are going well for you and your baby. I've thought about your post and wondered how you were. The level of obsession your high school bully has with you is scary. She's obsessed with hurting you. You should keep copious notes in case a restraining order ever becomes necessary, and I hope you have lots of security cameras and make your work aware of what she looks like. You just never know what people are capable of doing. I wonder if that's part of why he broke it off. The realization hit him why this woman was asking about his wife so much, and why she was with him at all. It's not him being a stud, it's her being obsessed with his wife. On top, hopefully, of the guilt he feels for blowing up his marriage for a crazy chick. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. That message was her final attempt to bully you, and it fizzled out because you already knew. Brilliant. Your ex is so pathetic not to just come out and apologize for the affair, rather than trying to talk around it. All the best for the birth and beyond. You are going to be a great mom. I'm so glad that she got to call the ex-bully pathetic. It was pathetic. It feels like the bully is still on a power trip. The bully can't hurt OP by sleeping with her ex, but thinks she can hurt her by revealing the affair. OP played this beautifully by asking why she would admit to doing something this pathetic. I think it's amazing that OP went the route of not outing the affair. She took all the bully's power away. Unfortunately, if the ex-husband gets back with the bully, it will be almost impossible to prevent the bully from having access to her child. She could end up its stepmother, and given how vindictive she clearly still is, that is a hideous can of worms. Courts don't do a lot to prevent people's new partners from having access to their children unless there are convictions for serious abuse, drug use, etc. They are unlikely to care very much about high school bullying. OP should have moved far, far away before the baby is born. Even if the bully isn't back in the picture, the kind of woman that her ex-husband is likely to hook up with is probably going to be fairly dreadful as well. Just putting out into the world my sincere wish that the shitty husband never has any peace from the idea that any woman he meets in the future could be with him for reasons like hurting another woman and not because she has genuine desire for him and his company. Our next post is titled, I, 26 male, met my tormentor from school, 26 female. Can people really change? And if so, how much? So there is no other way to say this. She was a bully to me in middle school, humiliated me early in high school, and thankfully ignored me our senior year. She was always the popular cheerleader type, and when we were in middle school, she would verbally bully me and make fun of me and my appearance whenever she could, and would do it as the leader of a pack of she-wolves who would write fake notes to me and take photos of me and Photoshop all sorts of vile things and plaster them all over the school. When we were in the 10th grade, she catfished me. There wasn't even a word for it back then, and eventually got myself and another guy to meet one another after school, both of us thinking that there was a cute new girl in school who liked us. Needless to say, both of us were the butt of jokes for the rest of the school year. Finally, by the middle of our junior and senior years, she thankfully forgets I exist. Flash forward to the present, I'm parking my car and getting ready to go into Wendy's for lunch when I hear my name being spoken by a person directly behind me. I turn just in time to see my tormentor coming in for a hug. My first reaction was to run because of our previous dealings with one another, but she's quicker than I am. She stands there chatting in line with me like we were the best of friends and reminiscing about grand old times that never existed for me. She and I lived two very different high school experiences, I assure you. She, the popular girl, and I, the social outcast, not even cool enough to be accepted by the nerds and hipsters. So I get my food. I was planning on eating there, but since it was apparent that her and the woman she was with were eating there, I got mine to go. I wished her well and tried to bolt out the door, all the while losing whatever appetite I had. But before I left, she asked me for my number, and like an idiot, I gave it to her. The next day, I get a call from my sister. By the way, while I love my sister, she also lived a very different life than I did in high school. In fact, I think my tormentor idolized her. She was a grade ahead of us. My sister said she got a call from Lady Voldemort wanting to know all about me. She said she was asking all forms of questions about my life, what I was doing, and if I was seeing anyone. I told her that I ran into her at Wendy's, and that I'm sure that this is some form of elaborate scheme of hers. My sister said that I was a dumbass, and that we are grown adults, and that I need to see what was right in front of me. I, of course, responded by saying that what was in front of me was Lucifer on Earth. Sure enough, my phone blows up that night with texts from a strange number. It didn't take long to deduce that it was her. She started with small talk about how great it was to see me again and how wonderful I looked, and then she goes into asking why I never asked her out in high school. I nearly flushed my phone in the toilet from that one. Now, mind you, she's saying all of this on text without me replying at all. I finally respond back with, "It was nice seeing you too." Within a minute of hitting send, my phone is ringing. I guess she decided that my response was good enough to give me a ring. She asks me out for a date for this Friday night. Now, here is my dilemma. From an outsider's perspective, she is gorgeous. I mean a solid 8, maybe 9 on a 10 scale. However, whenever I hear her speak or think about her, I can't see her physical attributes. I see visions of hell on earth, with her riding in some fiery chariot being drawn by black horses that snort smoke and fire. I realize that I am being overly dramatic, and in my real life, I am long past being socially awkward. I stare down drunks and assholes every day in my job. Did I mention that I was a police officer, and when I was at Wendy's, I was on the job? And generally, I am not afraid. She, on the other hand, makes me want to crawl under my bed and not come out. Is it possible for her to change? What the hell do I do with all of these repressed emotions that I obviously have pent up from years and years ago? She is either oblivious to what she did to me, or does remember and is trying to forget. Since I told her I would go out with her, I have gotten several texts about looking forward to Friday. My heart races every single time I get a text from her, but not from the romantic butterfly in the stomach kind of way. What is the groupthink here? Has anyone else ever had a mortal enemy become a date? And now in the comments, confront her about her bullying while on the date. Post results here. It doesn't sound like you're being overly dramatic at all. However, to me, it's bizarre that you're even considering going out with her. It's totally possible for her to change. After all, you're not the same person you were in high school, right? But who cares? The best thing to do with this kind of baggage from high school is accept that it's in the past and move on from it. You're not going to move on from it when your bully is trying to date you. In your shoes, I would tell her that I can't make it and cut off contact. Don't even open that can of worms. It sounds like interacting with her at all is effing with your head in a big way. Why are you exposing your adult self to crap your teenage self already had to go through? There is no point. And OP replies, you know, you would think that, right? But every single person I know who I've spoken to about this tells me that I am an idiot. My sister, my best friend, hell, even my partner from work who doesn't know her but saw her, asks me if I've lost my damned mind. They all tell me that I'm being a drama king and that we were both children when this occurred, and that I need to let it go. My sister even sent me the damned Disney video link to the song. She was nice enough in person the other day, and she genuinely seems excited about Friday, and I know there are hundreds of guys who would fall all over themselves to go out with her, but damn, it's just hard to let go of something that I guess I've been nurturing for over a decade. You know what they're all seeing? Hotness. Just physical hotness. They're thinking that nobody should turn down a chick that hot. They're insinuating that you have to jump at the chance to be with a girl that hot. None of them are taking into account the damage that she has done to you. Sure, they all want what's best for you, but they don't necessarily know what the best is. All they can see is that you have the chance to be with a beautiful woman. Well, beautiful on the outside anyway. She might also be beautiful on the inside now. People can change, and if she shows she is genuinely remorseful if and when OP tells her about how he experienced high school, it could be very helpful in the OP's dealing with his past. An apology from your bully can go a long way. And now onto the update. I know it's early for an update, but I wasn't sure anyone would read if I put this in as an edit. After reading all of the responses to the original and several PMs I got, I have made a decision. It would not be fair to either of us for me to go into Friday night with her and ambush her with my problems from my past. So I gave her a call this afternoon and invited her to a late lunch tomorrow when she gets off of work, which she was thrilled to do. I plan on talking with her then about things, and we will see what happens from there about Friday night. I am either setting myself up to be the world's largest douchebag, or I'm going to get burned again. Her acting all giddy every time I talk with her does make me feel like crap for holding on to the past. I just plan on easing into the conversation, and I'm going to be very specific about the catfishing thing. I know for a fact that she was behind that one, and that is the one that hurt the worst. I'll let you guys know what she says. And now in the comments, first, I wish you luck with your lunch tomorrow to discuss the past. It's a good idea. I was like you in high school, the fat, ugly chick with a few friends. My female tormentor was a part of a group of popular chicks who daily did what she could to embarrass and humiliate me. As we got older and all went our separate ways, I discovered my brother was dating one of the girls from her group and they eventually married. Their wedding was awkward to say the least, to see my tormentor there, and it took me a while to accept my brother's new wife, as even though she never did anything but laugh at the jokes and ridicule, I still didn't like her because of her friend. Anyways, point is, listen to what she has to say in response to the past. She'll probably apologize, say she was kidding and it was all a joke and in good fun. I guarantee she had no idea the pain and suffering she caused you. Personally though, I wouldn't date her. I've seen some of the guys who used to torment me too look twice at me now because they recognize me or I look familiar, but I'm no longer that fat, ugly chick that I was. I forgave my sister-in-law and we're okay friends now. But I would never date one of the guys who tormented me. They were assholes, and don't deserve me now when they couldn't even be somewhat nice to me then. And same with her, after all she did to you, the catfishing definitely being the worst. She doesn't deserve you now, if she couldn't even be civil back then. And now on to the second update. Sorry I forgot to update about our lunch. I arrived early enough so that I made sure to be there before her so I could pick out a secluded spot so we could talk and not be interrupted. She got there about 15 minutes after I did, right on time by the way, and she spotted me and came over to sit. She was just beaming and had a huge smile on her face from the moment that she came in the door, and it honestly made me feel like a creep who was laying in wait to ambush her. But when she started to talk, her voice just sent cold chills down my spine, because even though she was saying nice things, it was still that voice that I remember from years ago, and that helped steel my resolve. She was saying how thrilled she was to meet with me today, and then how much she was looking forward to Friday night. At this point, the waitress came over to get our orders, so that caused a natural pause. I decided to wait till the food came so that we would not have any further interruptions, so we just made small talk. Food comes and I take the shot. Simply put, I asked her why she was now interested in me when all during our school years I was less than dog crap to her. Yes, I said dog crap because, well, just because. She actually teared up a little, but to her credit, she didn't cry or anything at this point. She goes on to say that she knew when she did the catfishing thing that she had gone too far. She stated that she had no good reasons for doing anything other than that she was very immature and very wrong. She then went on to tell me something I had no idea about. I guess the other guy who she tricked with the catfishing scheme did not take it as well as I did. She said about a month after she did that, he physically attacked her on the way to her mum's car one day while she was leaving cheerleading practice. She had a fractured jaw, contused lungs, and 2 broken ribs. I knew she had missed some school, but at that time had no idea why, nor did I care. She then said that she never came to apologize to me for it because after that, she was afraid and did everything in her power to avoid me for the rest of our time in school. The other guy transferred out before that school year was up. She did make what I thought was a really heartfelt apology to me. I'm usually a decent judge of character and believe in my line of work, people lie to me all the time, so you can pick up on traits, and she either is one of the best liars I have ever come across, or she was genuinely sorry for doing it. We then talked about middle school, and while she admitted some of the things that happened, she let me know that some of them were not her, but girls who she was hanging out with at the time. Some of it made sense, the other was really irrelevant anyway because it was the catfishing thing that hurt the worst. She never tried to bolt out of the cafe, nor did she ever not look at me in the eye. After a few minutes of this, I decided that my honor had been satisfied and that I would change topics. What started out as lunch ended up with an entire afternoon and early evening together, walking and talking. Man, has she ever had a rough time since high school. She was actually very down to earth, not at all like I imagined her being. Of course, my imagination of her before then was her speaking with a forked tongue while chanting scriptures from the Book of the Dead. The main takeaway I got about her from today is that she is genuinely interested in me. She admits that the uniform from the other day was a turn-on, but she wants to get to know me for me. Which sounds cheesy when I read it typed out here, but when she said it, I was kind of impressed. Honestly, this was a great day for me. I got closure, I got a heartfelt apology, and at the end of the day, once I got past thinking of her as the daughter of Satan, she was actually a decent person to talk to. And yes, I now see that she is wickedly hot. By the end of the evening, she was all smiles again, and telling me how she hasn't felt this close to someone in a long time. She actually gave me a goodnight kiss. Anyway, Friday night is on for sure. And now in the comments, people don't change unless a huge event/tragedy shocks them into reevaluating their worldview. So when I read that she was severely beaten over the catfish incident, it makes me think maybe she has changed. Maybe realizing how shitty she acted and how treating another human being like garbage almost got her killed. Maybe that caused her to question her existence. There isn't much to do in hospital, but think of all the crap that you did wrong. I'm not saying she is definitely a good person now, but the signs look hopeful. Good luck and stay safe. This sounds like it couldn't have gone better. I'm glad you're giving her a chance. She's obviously a very different person now. Getting the crap kicked out of them by one of their victims isn't an uncommon way for a bully to realize they need to mend their ways. And now onto the third and final update. Hey gang, I thought I would give you what should amount to being the final update on this. I went out with her last night and things could not have gone better. Honestly, I had fun with her. Not the way you're thinking, by the way, you sick idiots. And we stayed out way later than either of us planned. Thank God I didn't have to go to work today. This wasn't a normal date for me. Generally speaking, I tend to end up in bars and listening to crappy music all night for some woman who I really don't connect with. In many ways, this was surreal because I was having the time of my life with a person who, up until 48 hours ago, I had spent well over a decade either dreading and fearing or hating depending on the day of the week. We went frickin' bowling and it was her idea. I haven't been bowling since I was a teenager and you could tell. She laughed at me because of how bad I sucked, but all I could do was laugh with her because she wasn't making fun of me. She was having a great time. After that, we went and ate, and she demanded to pay because she said she asked me out, which is the very first time in my entire life a date has offered to pay for my meal. I was taken aback at first, but the more the night went on, the more I appreciated the effort that she was putting into this night. The more we talked, the more we found what we had in common. I got the most passionate kiss I have ever received in my life as we said goodnight. I'll be damned if I didn't feel like I just lost my virginity again when she did that. I can't even explain it or how it felt. I've never been kissed like that. We are going out again tonight. My idea, by the way. At this point in time, I think I can close this out because I am positive of my own question now. I don't know if everybody can, but she certainly has changed, and I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. Thank you everyone for your support and answers. Keep strong. Last edit, I'm not going to make another post just to say this part, but Saturday's date went better than Friday's date. In fact, I'm just now home from her house, and the only reason I'm home now is because I have to pull an extra shift tonight that I can't get out of. We plan on having dinner together Tuesday. And that's where I'm going to end today's story, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.